Alright guys, so this was the clear winner pretty early in the final poll for the Universal Monster Fix that were this month, because like I said, all of the month of September is spooky season, right? It's all spooky. It's all spooky. So yeah. So this one won by over 60% of the vote. Like it was down to Creature and Frankenstein. As you can see, Frankenstein won by 70% of the vote. As always, if you guys would like to be part of these polls, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon. You guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube if you get to the third tier. But if you just want to be part of polls as well as movie reviews, just hit the link below, head on over there, and just hit the first tier. But other than that, yeah, let's get started with this Frankenstein versus the Evil Dead. There you go. So yeah, it's a Frankenstein Evil Dead crossover. So and also, if you're wondering, am I going to do a Creature from the Black Lagoon story as well? Yeah, I am. This is the runner-up is going to be the last one to close us out because it didn't win. it didn't win. So, but it does. But I am also a completionist, so of course, I'm going to do one on the Creature. But it won't be. It'll be something of my choosing. Also, it's kind of fitting that Creature's the last monster to do on this because he was the last of the Universal monsters. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the story. So the story is it's set during the present day, and Ash is just getting wasted at a bar. He's just getting drunk, and he's just having, he's just like, ugh, just being the manager of S-Mart and just kind of like, I was the chosen one, and I was chosen to get my ass kicked. So he's just knocking back drinks, and that's when a beautiful woman comes along, and he's just like, hey, baby, you ever been with someone with one hand? And the other one is for pleasure. But she's like, you must be Ash Williams. And he's like, yeah. How do you know about me, sweetheart? My sexual prowess is known far and wide. And she's like, no, I've heard stories about you. I've read a lot of books about, the Chosen One. He's like, oh, shit. And that's when he starts to feel a little dizzy, and she's like, oh, dear me, it looks like those sedatives finally kicked in. I wanted to have a little more of a talk with you. And that's when Ash collapses, and he wakes up in the back of a van, tied down. And he's like, what the hell is this? What the fuck are you doing? And that's when the woman reveals herself as Eliza Frankenstein. She is the last of the Frankenstein name. And she is like, yeah, my family, you probably know of our family. And he's like, know of it? What, it's a movie. And she's like, yeah, but it was based on real events. Mary Shelley, she reveals in this, is like, yeah, Mary Shelley heard the story because her mother was basically in the village where the monster attacked the first time. And this is the Universal Monster story. This is the original Universal Monster connection. So yeah, she remembers it, but she wrote it down as a story, and it became a movie. And then, became media itself. But the Frankenstein name has been, hidden in history. What Frankenstein did was so awful that my family, buried their name for so long. After bringing back the monster so many times. But after it got lost during a fight with a werewolf, my family just couldn't, the last of my name went on with their lives. So now, Mr. Williams, you're going to help me get the monster. And he's like, that ain't happening, lady. I don't know a damn thing, and I don't know where your monster is. And she's like, oh, no. You misunderstand. You're not helping me get that monster. You're helping me get a different monster. And I think you know this one. And she holds up, a thing of the Necronomicon. And he's like, nope, I'm not helping you with that. And she's like, I don't think you have a choice. Because she reveals that, science has, for ages, the Frankenstein family has done nothing but use science. And science, every time, science has failed and betrayed them at every turn. They have, every time they've tried to use science to bring back and control the monster, it hasn't worked. It just hasn't been fruitful. So now she believes she can bring back the monster and control it and learn the real secrets of life through the occult. There she started digging around and started learning about the Necronomicon. And from there, that's where she learned about, like, that's where she believes, like, true power is through the, through a mixture of science and the occult. So, she's like, you know where it is. And he's like, nope. He's, like, tied up. He's like, nope, I sure don't, lady. I really don't. And she's like, I think you do. And that's when she proceeds to take him to a warehouse where she has several armed mercenaries that are working for her, who proceed to beat the ever-loving shit out of Ash until he's like, all right, I'll tell ya. It's in my it's under my bed in my trailer. She's like, oh, good. That was kind of anticlimactic. I figured you would throw that into the sea. And he's like, I wonder that myself. So Ash is taken, and they taken to his trailer. They take the book, and they're like, and he's like, there, I got you a damn book that's got me nothing but trouble. So can I go now? And he's like, oh, no. You get to watch, true genius now. You'll bear witness to what I'm going to do. And he's like, lady, you are seriously fucked. And he's like, you don't even have the monster. And she's like, that's where you're wrong. You see, I've been, I have been sending teams out, squads to locate the monster. And sure enough, they have found the Frankenstein monster, who has been hiding in Alaska, like the wilderness of Alaska, where he gets captured and brought to he gets brought and taken to Germany, where it's the ruins of the Frankenstein castle, of the original Frankenstein castle that was destroyed. So from there, Ash is taken, and the monster is like just wild and uncontrollable. He's like, "Hey, the thing's alive. Why do you want to hurt it?" And she's like, "I have to, through this, I can use, the Necronomicon to bring new life into it. I can make it, I can make the monster beautiful. I can, and he's like, beautiful, lady, do you hear yourself right now? The only beauty that's going to be made is well, okay, so it's not going to be beautiful, but it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be, it's going to be a lot worse than you think it's going to be. This isn't going to go how you think it's going to go. But she believes through the magic of, through the dark magic of the book, she'll make the monster how her ancestor wanted it to be. So she reads the classic lines, Klaatu, Verada, and Nikto to open the book. And he's like, no, you don't want to read anymore. And she's just chanting Kanda. And he's like, oh, not again. And Ash is like, oh, not again. And Deadites show up, but they possess all of the all the guards and just start wrecking shit. And because she's like, no, why didn't you possess? You were supposed to take the monster. And and they're like, he's already dead. We do not possess the dead. We possess the living. And by this point, the Frankenstein monster busts out of his hold, and he's just like, we belong dead. And starts starts breaking through shit, and he even grabs Ash, and he's like, "You good?" He's like, yeah, Sparky, I'm good." So the monster breaks Ash free, and the two of them proceed to fight their way through all these Deadites to get at Dr. Frankenstein, who she's becoming possessed. More and more she reads from the book, the more it's twisting her mind, and they have to fight their way through the Deadites. Even the monster, Ash is just grabs a shotgun from one of the guys and is groovy, blows him away, and then the monster grabs a guy, rips his arms off, and goes, groovy, yes. And he's like, yeah, big guy. So they fight their way to her, and she's like, I will remake this world in my image. I will make it in the image of Frankenstein. And he's like, and the monster goes, there is no image of Frankenstein, only death. So the monster, the monster and Frankenstein fight over the book, and there's just like lightning everywhere and blasting everything. Ash is like, oh shit, he's like, oh shit, hey Frank, we gotta go, and he's like, go, you live. He's like, don't have to tell me twice, and heads and runs out. Meanwhile, the monster and Frankenstein, the building crumbles, and the mountain itself like falls apart into the ground. And he's like, and Ash is like, that was weird. Now how do I get home? Ah, shit. So he just starts walking, but as he leaves, the monster's like if this was a movie, the monster's hand would like climb, pull itself out, and as like a oh shit kind of thing. It's like the monster has the Necronomicon, and he is like a deadite now. So that's how like it would end if it was a comic or something. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my Frankenstein versus Evil Dead story. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, thank you all for voting in the polls. Like I said, if you'd like to be part of future polls, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon. You guys hit the first tier, and you guys can start interacting with polls that affect videos here on YouTube, as well as over there on Patreon. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.